You wake up, you sit in traffic. You work 40 hours a week to pay for a life that never quite arrives. You lie awake comparing yourself to strangers you suspect are happier than you are. You are exhausted. But right now, somewhere in northern Tanzania, a man is napping in the shade. He is done with his work for the day. He has no boss, he pays no rent. He doesn't look forward to the weekend because every day is already mostly a weekend. He has almost none of the chronic diseases that kill us, and every single researcher who has lived with his people comes back saying the exact same thing. They look happier than we are. In 1968, an anthropologist named Richard Lee published years of data on the Kung bushmen of the Kalahari Desert. He had tracked their time down to the minute. His total came to about 15 hours of work per week. Your ancient ancestors worked about 2.5 hours a day. Hunting, gathering, cooking. Every chore that kept them alive was usually finished before lunch. In the late 1960s, anthropologists looking at this data gave early humans a new title. They called them the original affluent society. They didn't mean they had wealth, they had almost nothing. They meant they had time. Let's walk through the day your brain is actually built for. You wake up in a camp of about 30 people. You know every single one of them. The first hour of the day isn't spent producing anything. It is spent talking. Anthropologists found that bushmen spent hours every day in casual conversation. This isn't just gossip. This is the operating system of the camp. It is the entire legal system. If a hunter brings home a massive kill, the camp doesn't celebrate. They mock it. They tell him the animal is too skinny and the meat is terrible. The bigger the kill, the harder they mock him. Every joke and whispered story is a tiny tool designed to keep people equal, to keep anyone from feeling like they are above anyone else. We built prisons to keep order. They handled things by talking to each other. Then comes the actual work. The men hunt, but it's unreliable. A hunter might walk 20 miles and come back with nothing. The people who actually keep the camp fed are the women. They gather steady food that doesn't depend on luck, providing more than half of the camp's calories. And the most productive gatherers are the grandmothers, women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s walking miles a day feeding their grandchildren. This is the evolutionary cheat code that made the entire human species successful. By midday, the work is over. The heat sets in. People nap in the shade. They weave baskets. They spend an hour picking lice from each other's hair, mostly as an excuse to just be physically close to the people they love. And yes, there were conflicts, affairs, grudges, stolen tools, but they handled toxic situations differently. Most disputes ended by simply leaving. The bushmen called it voting with your feet. If you couldn't stand someone, you just walked to another camp for a few weeks until the heat passed. Most of us cannot do that. You can't just walk away from a boss or a mortgage. This was not a perfect paradise. They buried children, they got sick, they grieved like anyone else. When we gave up this life, we made real trades. We got vaccines, antibiotics, indoor plumbing, and much longer lives. Nobody is suggesting we go back. But we also made trades we don't talk about. We invented agriculture, we invented bosses and bills and work that someone else owns. We traded away a life where people laughed with their families more in one afternoon than most of us do all week. They suffered, yes, but they did not know the slow, modern ache of working in a job you don't believe in. Here is the uncomfortable truth. You inherited their bodies. You have the exact same nervous system. You have the exact same biological need for sun, sleep, touch, conversation, and time spent doing genuinely nothing. Your body doesn't know about the 40-hour work week. It thinks you are still living in that camp. We are all still hunter-gatherers. We just stopped doing it.